Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to One Piece, episodes 805 to 808. And you may notice this is the first reaction we are doing on the new webcam. So yeah, looks a lot sharper, looks a lot cleaner, a lot smoother, just better in pretty much every way. If you saw the video I did showing off the differences between the new webcam and the old one, it's like, yeah, it's just leagues better. Plus, we won't have to worry about everything dropping, which is always a plus. Unfortunately, though, my headphones are kind of taking a shit now, so I'm going to have to get new headphones from like Dollar Tree or Five Below, so somewhere cheap, basically. But I can make them work at least somewhat for now. Basically, it's that issue that always happens with headphones. The cord inside gets messed up, so eventually only one side works. But if I twist the cord in the right way, basically it'll work. I can keep it working for now, until I'm able to get the new ones. Anyways. So that being said, um, yeah, more One Piece. Last time we got a shit ton of Sanji lore, a lot of backstory with him getting to meet his mother, find out more about his father and the way he's been treated and looked at throughout his entire childhood. Um, we also found out some big information about genetic engineering with Jerma 66 and how even the Vinsmoke children are genetically engineered. Um, but Sanji's didn't take, I guess, apparently, is a way to put it. So he's kind of a normal human while the others are all superhuman. Um, Reiju, who I didn't like at first because I felt like she was just as complicit in it as everyone else, even though she didn't seem as aggressive towards Sanji as everyone else. We find out that she's only doing that because she's scared as well. And sorry, it just got brighter outside. That is still going to affect this new camera. But yeah, she's doing that because she's scared as well, and she's afraid of what they'll do to her if she defends Sanji or whatever. Um, but yeah, we saw that she ended up helping him anyways. She helped him first of all escape from the cell while Jeremy 66 was attacking an island in the East Blue, and they helped her. She helped him be able to get onto a new ship after Judge basically just let him go, thinking it would lead to his death anyway. So yeah, Reiju, I'm definitely turning around on, and as I said last time, I do really hope that she helps Sanji out in the end, in the current day, because I think that it could be leading to that. Because otherwise, like, why would they go out of the way to show us that? Other than like maybe characterizing her, but I feel like there's going to be a bigger point to that. Oda usually does shit like that, so. um, but yeah. Uh, Otherwise, we still have Luffy and Nami taking on Cracker. Well, mostly Luffy. Nami's just being a distraction. And yeah, it's like we're gonna probably continue to see more of that. We might see more of Brook and Pedro. We might see more of Chopper and Carrot in the Mirror World, but it's hard to say. Um, we'll just have to kind of wait and see and hope for the best with these episodes going forward. So yeah, we're just going to get on with this because there's not really much of anything else I have to say. I don't know about any of these episodes going forward. I don't know what happens in them. As I've said before, I do know a couple things in the future, but I don't think that those are coming into play anytime soon. Um, and I think only one of them actually would be. um, could be, I should say. But that being said, either way, Let's just get this started and hope for the best. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black, then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episodes. So, that being said, thank you so much for continuing to tune into One Piece Week and just continuing to tune in and support the channel. So, for now, yeah, I lost my track because I added something different to that. um, for now, I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So there's not a lot of actual content to discuss this episode, or this video, these 4 episodes. Because admittedly, probably over half of the runtime was flashbacks to the Baratier arc and the flashbacks to the flashbacks from then. And don't get me wrong, it's like the flashbacks, at least for a lot of it, helped sell the story. And you got to remember, I watched 4 episodes here, and so it's like that's 4 separate weeks worth of content. It's like, so they're kind of reminding you over and over, but I admit it's a little much. They went too heavy into it. Like having these flashbacks, even multiple episodes, it's like, sure, because it's important to these episodes, especially these last 2. But considering 807 was practically almost 100% flashback, like there was like maybe 5 minutes of non-flashback in that entire episode, and it was supposed to be part 1 of the Luffy versus Sanji duel. It would have made more sense to have them draw that out than just draw it out with flashbacks, to me at least. Because with all the flashbacks, it just felt like like holy shit. And then they showed a lot of the exact same flashbacks multiple times, and it's just like it got kind of to the point where it was almost boring. But then the stuff that wasn't flashback was phenomenal. So it's like it leaves you kind of mixed. But it also leaves it so that there's not a lot to talk about with these 4 episodes here. There's really 3 aspects to these episodes to talk about. I'm going to start with the smallest one first. Obviously, Chopper and Carrot continuing to run from Brule. So while in the Mirror World, they are just going from mirror to mirror, trying to escape Brule. Brule's chasing them down, trying to stop them. And they end up coming across the mirror that leads them to Sanji. They call out to him, and he does hear them, but Reiju gets in the way and distracts him long enough for just kind of everything to just continue on, and them to not really, have anything go through with that. You know what I mean. And then at the end, the mirror, presumably the mirror that they were holding was shattered, which is why the mirror in Nami's hand shattered too, because they were connected. So we don't know completely what happened with them yet. But I did want to bring that up, even though it was so minor to these episodes. The second aspect, of course, that I want to bring up is... Why is my mind blanking? Seriously. Oh yeah, the fight with Luffy and Cracker finishing in these episodes. So Luffy and Cracker's been going on for a while now, but they finally figure out Cracker's true weakness. It's not like pain or anything, like he kind of even admitted to. The true weakness to his devil fruit power and to his abilities and everything is basically liquid. Getting the Cracker, the Biscuit Warriors wet and everything, weakens them like it would. Like, you think about it, you take, like, if you're ever having like soup or something and you take a cracker, you dip it in the soup, and yeah, it gets soggy, it gets softer, and sometimes can even fall apart. that's what happens. Now, Cracker's biscuits are obviously much stronger than normal, obviously. But still, they would still soften enough to be able to be destroyed easier if they get soggy, if they get wet. And that's what they did. So Nami took active part in the fight, which I, as I said, I love. I love it whenever she gets to actively take part in a fight and actually, in all honesty, be the key to winning the fight. She uses her Climattact in order to make it rain, softening up the Biscuit Warriors. She also suggests bringing the biscuits over to the Apple Juice Waterfall and Melon River uh, in order to give it a little more flavor as well, so that Luffy can continue to eat the Biscuit Warriors and eventually stop Cracker. Um, and it works. It not only tires him out having to continuously make them because Luffy keeps eating them, but eventually he gets just so taken aback by it that it just he can't really he's kind of losing his cool in a way. And Luffy goes gear fourth and uses the Tank Man while having already grown massive because of eating so much. And he's able to use that to completely catch Cracker off guard and absolutely destroy him. I like this end to the fight. I think it was a smart way to end it. I think that that Nami's integration into the fight was very well done, and just the fact that how he was defeated using the rainwater, and then eventually the Melon River and Apple Juice Waterfall. I thought that was fantastic. It was really clever, really creative. And honestly, this entire arc with Whole Cake Island has been really creative and clever so far, but still, it definitely stood out. And of course, the third thing to talk about is obviously everything with Sanji going on. So, aside from just all the backstory and everything, we see that Sanji is dedicated to going through with this only for the sake that he doesn't want to put his friends and his father figure, Zeph, in danger. He knows that they're being basically used as collateral to keep him in line, as well as his hands themselves with the explosive wristbands around them. So, all in all, Sanji is he really has no choice. And I think Luffy realizes that. He doesn't know exactly what's going on, but Luffy realizes that when Sanji was telling him all of that stuff, that it was complete bullshit. He could see it, and that's why he wasn't fighting back. Because, and here's where it was different from when he fought Usopp back in Water 7. In Water 7, he knew that Usopp wasn't fighting him, that Usopp wasn't going after him because he hated him or anything. He knew that, and Usopp never pretended that was the case. Usopp's entire reason for fighting him was because of the Going Merry, and because of not wanting it to be left behind, because he saw it as another piece of this crew, as something important to him. And Luffy did too, but Luffy understood that they needed to get a new ship, that because the Going Merry was pretty much beyond repair at this point. And so he fought Usopp because he knew it was the only way to try and get through Usopp's head. And I mean, it didn't in the end, and Usopp won, and he kept the Going Merry, and was and although he did end up regretting it really quickly, and everything ended up working out in the end, but still, you get the point. Luffy knew from the start that Usopp wasn't even trying to bullshit him about that. He knew that Usopp's reason for the fight was genuine, that Usopp genuinely cared about the Going Merry and didn't want to see it abandoned. As such, it basically dialed down to Luffy was trying to beat some sense into him. Because let's be honest, Usopp was technically in the wrong in that fight. I mean, you can't blame him, and you definitely don't see him as being wrong for having those feelings, but obviously the ship was beyond repair. They needed a new one. and we knew that. This fight's different because Luffy can tell Sanji's bullshitting him, and he knows that there has to be a reason for that, and that Sanji doesn't want to fight, and that he's only doing it to push them away so that they don't get hurt. Luffy's not dumb. It irritates me when people say Luffy is dumb. He's naive. He has his moments of kind of ridiculous stupidity here and there, but overall, he's not dumb. And it's not just in terms of battle tactics and shit. He can tell when somebody is bullshitting him. He can tell when something is real or not. It was the same thing with Nami in the Arlong Park arc. He could tell that Nami was lying when she was telling them that she was tricking them the entire time and didn't care about them and wanted them to leave. He could tell. That's why he didn't leave. That's why he chose to lay down and just take a nap instead. Because he knew she was lying and he wanted to be there when she finally did ask for help, which did happen. I think it's the same kind of thing here. That's why he refused to move. That's why he refused to stand down, why he refused to fight. Because he understood Sanji was bullshitting him. He understood Sanji was lying. He could see it. He could feel it. And because of that, he wants to be there when Sanji finally asks him for help. And you know it's going to happen. You know that eventually Sanji's going to want his help, and that eventually he's going to accept Luffy's help, and that eventually Luffy is going to free him. We know that's coming. It's like, this isn't one of those shows where it's like leaving it up to surprise. It's not one of those shows where it's like, oh, it's going to end off in some kind of weird surprise, like Luffy's not going to end up surviving the entire time. No, we know that's not the case. We know how it's going to go. We know Luffy's going to get Sanji back. We know yada yada. We know Luffy will eventually find the One Piece and that it will be an actual real treasure. Oda has made sure we know of that. That it's not just, oh, the friends we made along the way bullshit. But no, in all seriousness, we know how this is going to go. We know how this is going to end to a degree. But the thing we don't know is how we're going to get there, and that's the point. This series isn't about surprising us with the end game. It's about surprising us with the journey. How are we going to get there? What's going to lead to that? With the Alabasta arc, like, we knew that Luffy would defeat Crocodile, but when we saw Luffy lose to him in their first match and get impaled by the hook, that surprised us. We knew he would still eventually defeat him, but that surprised us because that part of the journey to defeating Crocodile was completely unexpected. And even though we knew he would survive and we knew he would beat Crocodile in the end, it threw us off. And there's been so many moments like that in this series. And there will be so many more. And it's one of the reasons why I love One Piece. It is the epitome of the phrase that it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. That is what this entire series is about. We knew from the beginning where this series was going to end. But that's not what this series is about, and it's not what it's focused on. And I love that. So yeah, we know it's all going to end well, and Luffy understands that Sanji doesn't mean this. So he's going to stay, and he's going to continue to try and get him back. And Sanji, I feel, knew this the entire time. Even while he was trying to push him away, he knew Luffy wouldn't be pushed away. He knew that. But he still felt he needed to try because he wants so badly to save Luffy here. The fight itself, like, it was well animated and everything, but obviously, like I said, it wasn't really much of a fight. Just being completely honest, it was completely one-sided. But you could tell, like, even when Sanji was holding back, he was still hitting him hard. And then when he stopped holding back, it's like, geez. he was legitimately trying to force him to get to leave by whatever means necessary. He was hitting him as hard as he could because he felt that it would prove a point, prove that he was serious. But Luffy still saw through it. Um, and so the question now is, what's going to happen next? The Vinsmoke family are on their way to meeting with Big Mom for the tea party and everything. The wedding is the very next day. There's not a lot of time left. Like I had mentioned, I think in the previous reaction video, um, this is all taking place. All these episodes are taking place over a very short period of time. So it's like it's going to be just really interesting to see what happens from here on out, to see what goes on, to see how they stop the wedding, which is tomorrow, the next day. So it's like, holy shit. It's just there's going to be so much that they have to get through with such a little amount of like time in terms of, in their world, like in terms of their actual time frame. So yeah, it's just insane. And it kind of reminds me of how it's been stated by the crew of Ruby that the next volume of Ruby is going to only take place over a few days. That the entire volume is going to take place over the course of only a few days. And it's like, it makes me think of that. And it's like all these episodes, not the entire arc so far, mind you, but a lot of these episodes, I'd even say a good portion of what we've been watching has been over a very short amount of time. But it's because of anime, basically. Because anime logic and everything, it's able to stretch it out. And it's like, oh, we're going to show like over a dozen episodes and shit that takes place pretty much within a couple hours, maybe. That just brings me back to Dragon Ball Z because of the entire thing. Like, oh, Namek's gonna blow up in 5 minutes. 20 episodes later. I don't even know how many episodes exactly it was, but it's the joke because it takes so long for 5 minutes. But that's an anime thing. A lot of anime have done that kind of thing. Either way, like I said, there really wasn't a lot to these episodes because of all the flashbacks, especially the last two episodes. Those ones definitely had just so much flashback and so much of the same flashback that it felt really just boring in some places. But again, that's only in some places because the new stuff was fantastic. And obviously, I'm sure a lot of this wasn't in the manga. I'm sure a lot of this was put into the anime to fill out time and all, but still. Um, I'm not going to fully judge all of this on those overused flashbacks. I'm still going to judge it based on the new content we get more than ever, more than anything. So yeah, and still by that, this arc has still been fantastic. But yeah, we're going to do another reaction video for this tomorrow. But this was a good set of episodes still. I would say not as good as the last set, though. The last set from yesterday's video was better. Even though it did still show some flashbacks, it was definitely more new content and everything, and just was really big revelations and shit. So it's like, I definitely think that the last set was better, but this set was still good, and I still enjoyed it, and I still enjoyed watching it. Tell me in the comments below what you thought of these episodes of One Piece, episodes 805 through 808. And thank you so much for continuing to tune in and support. And tell me what you think of, now that you've seen it more in a full video, what you think of the new webcam and its quality. I love it. I mean, even with the light changes outside that kind of affect how it looks on here, like, it still looks really fucking good. Tell me your thoughts, though, once again, and thank you so much. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.